Hey everybody, Meteorologist Mike Slifer here in the First Alert Forecast Center. We certainly have a lot to discuss over the next several days, and we're also looking ahead to the middle of next week as maybe when things could become a bit more unsettled. But before we talk about what's happening, let's talk briefly about what has happened. 3 days into the new month, every day so far has been cooler than normal, and that is something that will continue for at least the next 7 days, if not longer. So if you were hoping for a mild December, so far that certainly has not been the case. Not only that, but yesterday was a pretty active day. We picked up 2.4 inches of snow officially for the Hartford area, Bradley International, and of course the highest totals were across northwestern Connecticut, with the shoreline seeing just plain old rain. But as we look ahead, well, we're giving the first alert to Friday. It's a first alert weather day as temperatures will remain below freezing the entire day. This will be the coldest air that we have seen since March. So that's why we've gone ahead and declared Friday a first alert weather day. Let's kick things off with what's going on outside. First alert live radar right now, skinning clear and dry. Very different than 24 hours ago. Granted, we were improving last night at this time, but still it was a very active day across the state. Now, we're keeping a close eye on some cloudiness. A partly cloudy sky is expected for the remainder of the night, and we see some snow showers to our west, and that's in association with an Arctic front that is going to be on the approach and eventually cross Connecticut tomorrow. In the meantime, we had a great sunset out there. Check out this picture from Heidi in Glastonbury of the sunset. Beautiful colors off in the distance, and we'll take you to Sharon now, northwestern Connecticut. Eric snapped this picture of a beautiful sunset, looking like a very wintry scene, if you will, a winter wonderland with that snow on the ground in Sharon. And this is part of the state that saw several inches of snowfall yesterday. And we don't really see much of a chance for that to melt over the next 7 days. We'll explain why in just a moment. Here's a live look at our iCam in Mystic. All is calm. All is not quite bright because the sun is set, but it still is a tranquil night in southeastern Connecticut. Next up, along the shoreline, our iCam view in Old Saybrook showing those stars clear as can be. So with a clear sky and a calm wind, temperatures have fallen back quickly. You'll also note all of the boats are out of the water. It's that time of year. As we head to New Haven right now, a similar view here, 29 degrees and calm in the Elm City, and overhead we can see the stars. So it's that combo of a clear sky and a calm wind that really allows the Earth to radiate its heat out and into space, which means temperatures fall off rather quickly. But there's a bit of a caveat to this, and we'll get to that in just a second. Our iCam view in Middletown, we can also see the stars. That will not be the case everywhere. Some parts of the state are starting to see a partly cloudy sky, and you can see those clouds a little more clearly here on our iCam in Hartford as we look live over the capital city. 29 degrees in Hartford right now. Wind is out of the south at 3 miles per hour. We'll finish off with a live look at our iCam in Torrington, and we can see more in the way of cloudiness in northwestern Connecticut. Not only are we watching a partly cloudy sky develop, but we also are watching the wind shift direction. Wind speed still calm for most of the state, but that southerly wind will help to keep temperatures essentially steady where they are right now. We could see some spots, for example, Hartford and New Haven drop a little bit more, down to 22 in Salisbury and Norwich. We're at 26 right now in Willimantic, 28 in Waterbury, 28 in Chester. But look at the trend in temperature here. It's essentially flat, if not even rising slightly, as we get closer to the start of the day tomorrow. And the reason for that is because of the increased cloudiness. So as you step out the door tomorrow, well, you're going to need a jacket. Some of you may need the ice scrapers, and you might want to keep those shades on standby too, because we do expect some sunshine early on in the day. But later in the day, well, might not be quite as bright as we track an Arctic front. We do recommend, of course, dressing in layers. By lunchtime tomorrow, we're in the mid and upper 30s. End of the day, upper 30s, low 40s. And it's not just the temperature that we are watching here for tomorrow. It's the wind, too. Wind gusts will pick up to, say, 25 or even 30 miles per hour, maybe even a little bit stronger than that. So the day becomes windy as we go on, and that is going to be certainly a bit of a factor in how it actually feels outside later in the day, perhaps a bit of a wind chill factor. There's the Arctic front on the approach on Thursday, and then it starts to drop south, and it eventually crosses Connecticut. Now, behind that front, we have cold air that will be rushing in, and that will be moving in on top of relatively warmer air, which is going to give us quite a bit of instability relative to, a wintertime setup, which means we could see some snow showers pop up tomorrow in the afternoon. We expect them to be pretty isolated in nature. They don't look too heavy because we're lacking moisture. Once we get past sunset tomorrow, we lose our daytime heating. Of course, heating being relative this time of year. That means that the risk for showers will essentially diminish entirely. Heading into the morning on Friday, high pressure is in control. And this does two things for us. One, it ensures that we will have a clear sky and a calm wind, so it gets cold out there Friday morning. And two, you see all that snow that'll be falling in West Virginia and Virginia. Well, that stays south of us, so that high pressure keeps that system at bay. And what that means for us is we're expecting things to be dry on Friday. We can't rule out an isolated shower late Friday night along the shoreline, but many towns will stay entirely dry on Friday. Here's a look at temperatures at 8 o'clock Friday morning. We're talking 5 to 10 degrees through the northern half of the state, 10 to 15 in the southern half of the state. And even with the sunshine on Friday, because we do expect Friday to be a fairly bright day, temperatures only make it into the mid and upper 20s inland, low 30s along the shoreline. Unseasonably cold out there, about 15 degrees lower than where we typically would be for this time of year. So get ready for some real cold out there as we wrap up the week. Now, looking ahead to next week, the next big thing that we want to give you the first alert to is an unsettled pattern that will be developing. So we'll see multiple clipper systems here. And what these are these quick-moving systems that drop out of Canada. Sometimes they bring showers, sometimes they miss us. It really depends on the track they take. But the pattern is certainly setting up to be more active by the middle of next week. And that's important to note because that could increase our risk for showers. Showers of any variety. So we'll be watching very closely by the 9th of December, 6 days from now, through the 13th, 10 days from now. That's the time frame that we're looking here on this outlook. You'll note the shades of green over Connecticut, a higher likelihood that things stay a bit more active, a bit wetter than normal. So keep an eye on the middle of next week. Again, just a time frame of interest to watch and see how things evolve. Now in the First Alert 7-day forecast, windy tomorrow with some isolated snow showers, 8 degrees. Friday morning, cold Friday afternoon, 27 for the high, back into the teens Friday night, 36 Saturday, 38 Sunday. We do see increasing sunshine Saturday. It mixes sun and clouds Sunday. By Monday, we're mostly sunny, cold, 28, 7 degrees Tuesday morning, 29 Tuesday afternoon, and then there's that risk for snow showers by Wednesday next week. Shoreline highs about 42 tomorrow, 31 on Friday, 39 on Saturday, 41 Sunday. Back to the 30s Monday, Tuesday, and then maybe by Wednesday next week we'll be back in the low 40s. But this pattern certainly favors things to stay colder than normal as we approach the middle of the month. This will be the 11th through the 17th that we're looking at on this outlook here. Not only do we see shades of blue, but they've gotten darker. A higher likelihood that temperatures will stay below normal or what is typical for this time of year. And here's the thing. We are expecting things to be colder than normal when the normal temperature is still dropping. By the 15th, normal high is 41 degrees. By the 16th, it's 40. So when we talk about things being colder than normal, that typically means perhaps some colder nights and daytime high temperatures that could be in the 30s, or in the case of early next week, lower. So that'd be more typical of, say, mid-January if it is temperatures in the 30s. If not, well, a cold December. So November finished a little bit colder than normal. December is certainly starting off on a similar note. We still have a lot of time left in the month, of course, 4 weeks to be exact. So, we don't need to rush anything, so to speak. But we will see how things work themselves out here over the next couple of weeks. And by the time we get through, say, the 20th, we'll have a pretty good idea of how things will be looking as we wind down 2025 and begin 2026. Stick with Channel 3 for the latest. We, of course, will be the first to alert you. Not only are we talking cold, but we're talking about daylight. 9 hours, 18 minutes of daylight. We have lost 5 hours and 56 minutes of daylight since the summer solstice, so we only have 11 minutes left to lose. The winter solstice is in 19 days, the shortest day of the year. By the end of the month, sunset back around 4:30. By the end of January, sunset back in the 5 o'clock hour. So in less than 2 months, sunsets will be back past 5 p.m. Just something to keep in mind. We start to gain daylight much more rapidly throughout the spring months. Another check of the First Alert 7-day forecast here. Just keep the jackets on standby basically the remainder of the week. We can't rule out that isolated shower along the shoreline Friday night into Saturday, but we really aren't expecting much of an impact. Could be rain, could be snow. Sunday, still decent. Good for any weekend plans, really. Travel or not, whether you're staying local. Just going to be a bit chilly out there. Cold Monday, Tuesday. Snow showers are back for Wednesday. We will have much more for you coming up on the Wax at 10, Channel 3 tonight at 11, and of course, we'll be running our normal newscast tomorrow. You can join Scott Haney and Tyler Hughes tomorrow morning on Channel 3 and the Wax. Hope you'll join us over on the Wax in 20, and stay warm out there, not only tonight, but for the rest of the week.